how many employees today? How many people on the team? And I want to give you I want to say thank you for using the word team. I'm a big proponent of we build teams. We don't have staff. Staff is an infection. So we always want to be building teams.
Building teams for sure. And because of the opening of the Hubs Vine and the retail market that we now have, it's a 7,000 foot event space with it was an old grocery store, and it had a coffee counter, and it had a deli and a bakery. So we had a lot of equipment that we inherited. And so because of that, we really have been expanding our team to run that operation. And so we're now around 70, but I mean, I would say maybe 15 of those are associated with the Vine and the lunch counter and the event space that we have, coffee counter. And so but I'm really pumped because last year was the first year that we were able to bring on a full-time production crew. We've had seasonal production crew forever, and now we've gotten to a point where we're still close to needing, and we're not quite at we need 5 days of production, January, February, March. But it's been nice to bring on more people full time, to be able to offer benefits, to be able to really be impactful to them. So it's been a big couple of years of employee growth.
Love it. Before the show started, before we started recording, I had mentioned that I was with my Vistage group yesterday, and the CEO roundtable, and the person that hosted us is part of a milk co-op. So it's 262 farmers that all send their milk to this company, and you'll understand the relate in a second. And then what they do is they produce, all the milk that's going around, upstate New York and, 3 or 4 states around the area, the yogurt, the sour cream, yada, 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 the specialty drinks that are coming from milk and chocolate milk. You get the picture.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, I'm curious, as you expand and whatnot, is that, how do you envision, could you ever get to a point where your farm isn't enough, where you have to bring in other farmers to, bring in their best crop for your things? And just
so right, that's we're already at a place. So my great grandfather had a small peanut farm, and we unfortunately do not have all the thousands and thousands of acres that it requires to use the top 1% of the crop. So we've already partnered with farmers throughout Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina that contract with the shellers. And so that's kind of how the peanut industry works. Unless you have a massive amounts of land, you are already having some cooperation there, because we're only buying super extra large Virginia type peanuts. So they're literally the highest quality peanuts grown on the planet. And the farmers are contracting with the shellers. The shellers are shelling them and grading them according to the size, quality, and all of that. And so then we're literally just buying the cream of the crop. So that's what my grandmother created. She was only buying the peanuts that did not go through kind of the filters, so to speak, that stayed on top, that didn't go through, and she wanted to take those off and use. So it's a little bit different than the milk concept that you're talking about, but there is a lot of cooperation amongst ourselves.
Yeah. And I think, from my perspective, the big thing about that is it's not just the 70 employees and all the customers, but then there's a whole bunch of farmers that, that you're supporting and that, are getting benefit from your company.
And on Monday and Tuesday of this week, I was visiting our can manufacturer. I haven't been there yet. So one of the things that's really nice, I think, about us is we have a really high quality gift tin. The packaging is nice, but I went to the can manufacturer and to just look at all of the steps that go into making the can, and the people that are, and I was having dinner with their COO, and he was talking about, all of the things that can represents to his community, not just ours, but all the cans that they make. And it really, that's just what's so remarkable about business. Yes, we all sell stuff, but that stuff is putting food on the table and roofs on our head, and it's impacting the greater community on a much larger scale. And it was really interesting to see, because we have printed metal cans. So when the metal comes in, how they're printed, how they're rolled, cut, and they have 400 plus employees there that are working to just an input to our product as well. And it's cool to see the whole picture.
Yeah, one of the things that we do when we're coaching businesses where they're working on their strategy, is we teach them, compete to be unique, don't compete to be the best. And your grandmother picked that up right from the top. Only the 1% of the peanuts go through. You want the ones that are different than everybody else's.
Exactly. Compete to be unique. That's true. Yeah. I love it.
Let's talk about, so we understand this